NBA season hasn't even started yet, and our timelines are going crazy about Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers possibly breaking the rules and trying to evade the salary cap, y'all. I am going to talk about this issue, explained in detail what happened, and we got a response from Steve Ballmer this morning. So I'm going to listen in on his response and break down why I really don't believe this, y'all. Long story short, my man's is saying he basically got conned. And for a billionaire to get conned, we gonna need another Hulu series. This episode is all about the crooked Clippers. Stay right there. We gonna jump right in. This is the Post Up with DJ Trice. I'm running my mouth on everything hot in sports, news, drama, and whatever is blowing up the timeline. Let's get into it. Congratulations to you. You made it to another episode of the Post Up. I go by the name of DJ Trice, and I'm always posted up right here, running my mouth about sports. It's Friday. I'm feeling good, and I've got some time to dissect what's happening with this Steve Ballmer and Kawhi thing, y'all. So originally when I saw this thing pop up on social media, I, of course, thought to crack jokes because Kawhi Leonard, like Stephen A. Smith pointed out on First Take as well, he don't be playing no games. That's the number one part that we have been saying about the Clippers. We don't know the Clippers' full potential because once the playoffs show up, Kawhi seems to just be gone. He be somewhere else and or he's injured or recovering. So when we got word that he was getting a $28 extra million on the side, possibly, that's crazy to be paying somebody who's already making $50 million, $78 million. And this other job had a no-show clause too. So he's basically sitting at home just raking in the dough. I also was joking and said, if he's doing it, I'm guaranteeing there are other people doing it. Here's how it originally came out, y'all. There's a podcast called Pablo Torre Finds Out. And Pablo Torre is a Peabody-nominated journalist, so an actual credible source. He's alleging he found all of this evidence that led to him finding out the Clippers were paying Kawhi Leonard $28 million. Sorry, I thought that was my phone, y'all. $28 million for a no-show job where he basically didn't have to show up and it was a tree planting job. So that's the joke. That's the joke. And AI, of course, and the internet and Twitter, they have made it really, really funny, putting him talking about he planted a tree. He was at the groundbreaking thing or whatever. So it's funny. Another joke that I was going to make is, you know, he posted this picture in the off season of him just walking barefoot with his hair like in a rough ponytail, and he was just like on the streets of Costa Rica, I think, just like chilling, and everybody was like, man, he's silent, he down to earth. But to me, it immediately screamed, he was trying to look too broke. We should have known then that he was probably rolling deep. This is just how I'm feeling again. This part is my commentary. I'm updating you on what happened. But again, if you want the original news source, go listen to Pablo Torre podcast. Okay? You listen to the Post Up with DJ Trice. I'm telling you some of the facts, but I'm also interweaving my commentary in there. So Kawhi Leonard, whose knees have been in the crock pot every playoff that you need them to be, he's supposedly taking this $28 million side deal. So originally, people were saying, hey, this might not be true. The NBA said they're just going to start an investigation to see, but this information came from a podcast, so we don't know. But again, this Pablo Torre guy is a Peabody-nominated journalist, and he used to work for ESPN too, somebody said in the comments, because Steve Ballmer came out and made an official statement on ESPN. I don't know why he would do this. I don't know why. I don't know if his legal team told him not to do it. I'm sure they did. His PR team told him, just wait a minute. We'll put out. You don't get on ESPN and just do a video. You should have published the video. You get on the YouTube. You see how I'm recording this before it happened? And then I'm going to press play. I'm going to edit out some parts and do the thing. That's what he really should have did on this one. But anyway, he gets on ESPN. And basically the long and short of it, I'm going to play some of the clips here. So stay with me because I'm going to punch in and out of that thing. But for y'all with ADHD, the long and short of it, he basically saying he got conned because he invested in this company and turns out it's a phantom ghost company. Okay? He a billionaire and he's saying they offered us $330 million. We had already signed Kawhi. We had already signed Kawhi before we even did a deal with these people for the Intuit Dome. We had already signed Kawhi. That don't mean you can't get money later, Steve. But anyway, I'm putting the buggy before the horse here. And let's just go and tap in a little bit. I'm playing in the audio. For those of y'all on video, you got to look at my face when this is happening. But, I'm cute, so whatevs. But for those of y'all who listening on Revolt and audio, let's go to some of the clips, all right?
I look forward to it. Up front, I want to say one thing very clearly. We, the Clippers, have abided by the salary cap circumvention rules because that's the right thing to do. And we have done that. I happen, for what it's worth, to think it's a very important rule in terms of promoting competitiveness and equal playing field across the league. But whether I agreed with it or not, it's the rule. And we've absolutely abided by that.
So how do you define that rule against salary cap circumvention?
Well, there's obviously writing in.
I'm going to pause you right there. I'm glad this journalist asked him, how do you define evading the salary cap? Because that be where the misunderstandings come, right? Because we all think we talking about the same thing, and he might be talking about something different. So I'm glad that she asked that clarifying question straight away. Let's listen.
In the league rule book on this, but I can make it really simple. We cannot pay a player anything beyond what's in his standard player contract, and we cannot cause anybody else to pay the player what's beyond their standard contract. And that would include, for example, sponsors, endorsers. That is verboten. We can't do that, and we didn't, certainly in this instance.
Okay. Immediately, the red flag for me is he starts to elaborate too much on sponsorships. We understand that you are allowed to have sponsorships. So for the audience around who don't understand how the athletic sponsorships kind of work here, the athletes can sign their own individual sponsorships in whatever way, shape, form, or fashion they want. And then, they come into the league and they might be Powerade. It might be Icy Hot, whatever it is. That has nothing to do with the team. So he's basically saying we can pay them their salary, but we can't even make our companies that we partner with as the Clippers sign them individually for their endorsement. That's important. He's saying I can't even make the people that I contract with sign my athletes because that would break the rule. He said that straight out. Let's listen back.
I mean, we can have sponsors. The players can do endorsement contracts. We can do sponsorship deals with the same companies that they do endorsement contracts. We cannot have any involvement in their negotiation with the companies who sponsor them. We didn't in this case, and we never have.
All right, YouTube just went to an ad, but that is the perfect time for me to continue to talk about this because he said he's never done it. He didn't do it, especially in this circumstance with Kawhi Leonard. Let's jump back.
The podcast from Pablo Torre, you guys said that these allegations are provably false. So how do you prove that?
Well, if you start and think, let's pick up from the point about what the rules are. You say, okay, we know what the rules are. Was there an exception made in terms of our relationship with aspiration? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. This is a company that I got to know, frankly, through them approaching us about a sponsorship deal. My family and I were super keen to do work to stem climate change. We think that's an important thing.
Okay, here we go. He's addressing and talking about this. She's saying, how do you prove? He starts talking about climate change. You need to, Steve, you gotta go right forward and say, here's exactly how I can prove it. This date and this date, I had them. I've only sent them a check for this. I've only benefited from this. You start talking about climate change, and now you're trying to soften us up. Because as an audience, it feels like you're telling us this information because I'm supposed to recycle. I should be cutting the lights off and running less water and then going off the grid. You feel me? Like it's just dragging in all this other stuff that don't got nothing to do with it. And she asked you this direct question. And we only 2 minutes and 35 seconds into the interview. Crazy. Let's keep going.
I was in the process of even changing the design of Intuit Dome so that we could be carbon neutral. And then we meet this company that focuses in on an aspect of carbon neutrality. To me, it seemed like a match, kind of made in heaven, if you will.
Match made in heaven.
And then they offered us an unbelievable sum of money, $330 million.
He should not be using any of this language. It literally sounds like bragging. They offered us an unbelievable amount of money. Match made in heaven. We was all trying to be carbon neutral. And instead of directly answering the question first and then walking us back here and saying, the reason I even met them was this, you could say this at the end. If you say it at the beginning, it makes it seem like you're avoiding the direct point. Let's keep going.
That by itself, one of the biggest sponsorship deals ever done, and it wasn't naming rights. We had turned them down on the naming rights deal because we liked Intuit, blah, 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 but they didn't offer even more money. So we had a fantastic deal with a company that fit with stuff we care about personally, and because I was enthusiastic, I read their business plan. Remember, they defrauded me, they defrauded many other investors much bigger than me. But I read the business plan and said, hey, this makes sense to support them, to support us.
So you got conned, but you read the business. You were enthusiastic about the business plan. There are so many contradictory language things that are happening in this video that makes it seem like you're lying. And I'm not, again, I don't know either way. Big fraud companies have been happening. I watch Netflix. I be just as shocked as y'all when the end come. Wow, they picked off this big heist. You know, all of these things. How did you defraud a billionaire? But it seems like you read the business plan and it seemed like a legitimate business and you did your due diligence. So now to say, yeah, they defrauded me and all these other people and this, and this, and I was just taken for a con. It seemed like you were educated, you were excited, you were enthusiastic, and you were also over the moon about the overwhelming amount of money you were receiving. The general public is not going to believe that you are telling the truth, billionaire, if you keep telling us about the unbelievable amount of money, because it makes us feel like, okay, just more unbelievable amount of money. You're greedy. You have to believe that the public views you as that way. I'm not calling Steve Ballmer greedy. I also see that the Clippers have so many basketball courts that are sponsored in communities near me. My local park has an LA Clippers logo right on the backboard of the local basketball court that I personally play at. They're also at Venice. They also got the junior Clippers that be at the YMCA. I am well abreast of things that the Clippers are doing inside of the community. Great things. I think Steve Ballmer's a good guy. I love that he's excited about the Clippers. I love that he's been really, really trying to bring this to fruition for some time now, including that huge Intuit Dome, which is beautiful. It offers amenities in Inglewood, affordable games. I think it's crazy that the parking is $70 there, but we can talk about that later. The dude on my book so far has been a good guy, but this is kind of unbelievable. You telling me you didn't know about $28 million. When you compare it into your portfolio, I can see why you didn't care about it. It's like $2.80. But let's keep going into the interview, y'all.
We made an investment in the company. So all fine. I had no control over this company. That is important, actually. Under
a lot of money. An overwhelming amount of money. I had no control. Let's go.
Under the salary cap rules, I owned less than 3% of the company. There were investors who put in a lot more money than I did. I had no board seat. I had no control. Heck, it was a fraudulent company. It's possible nobody had any control. And now you look back and say, could I believe anything they said? Could their employees have been believing anything they said?
Shifting the blame.
But at the time, it was an exciting deal for us to go do. Now, we had already signed our deal with Kawhi Leonard. We signed that in August of 21. It was a 4-year deal, 4th year at his option. It was the most that we could pay him. That was the most we could
put him on the cap
under the rules, if you will. I've been excited about that, even though we knew Kawhi had to rehab a year from a torn ACL. So, kind of okay, this is going to work. This is really going to work, and it did. all done. I remember where I was. We're very excited. That would have been August. In September, we got the deal done for sponsorship and investment. We announced that. And at that time, we hadn't even entered.
Bro, you just said you did Kawhi's deal in August and did the sponsorship deal in September. That's not so big of a time gap. And that's why I'm done with this interview. And I understand. He said he didn't know it was a fake company. He got defrauded like a bunch of different, billionaires. But here's the thing. You have the money to make this right. So he's going to be assessed. I don't see the NBA not making an example out of the Clippers. Yet again, this could be the Clipper curse. It could be the Clipper curse. But it's astounding to me that you're doing stuff like this or even involved in stuff like this or this kind of thing could be on your radar. And now we find out that Kawhi Leonard has got all this money and you ain't even winning. Imagine being in a place where you're overpaying for losses. You paid a lot of money. A lot of money. And I see people in the comments like, I can't wait until they investigate LeBron and whatever. This Pablo Torre guy says he is going to be investigating and looking into it. And I believe that he is. The NBA better sweep up and clean the house because this looks so bad. This looks so bad. I don't know what the NBA is going to do. Officially, they haven't said anything. We haven't heard that. But this was just new information. Steve Ballmer's official stance is he was defrauded and he didn't know. A billionaire is saying he didn't know that this deal went down. He had nothing to do with it. He was never, he didn't have no board seat. But it was an exciting deal to make a lot of money at the time. What are your thoughts, people, around this? I don't believe it. I'm not buying it. And if y'all was cheating and you didn't win, you didn't even win. So now you have to pay hundreds of more $1 million and maybe lose round picks, which that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter in the Clippers stance. For the Clipper fans who actually like last year's squad and the year before squad was two good squads. Y'all could have went farther than you did. But for this, man, that is just another controversy on the Clippers record. This franchise is in trouble, man. And I love the Intuit Dome. Again, I like the investments of what he's doing. Steve Ballmer is, again, a very smart guy in sports entertainment. If you have been to the Intuit Dome, it's an experience. I love how it's beautifully built, his vision, all the things. But you got to play by the rules, man. And you can't have your stance be, I was defrauded. You should have just left it silent for a little bit more. But y'all, this has been my episode. It's me, DJ Trice, and I stay running my mouth about sports here. Trending topics, breaking news, all of that. If this is your first time here, don't make it your last. Make sure you like, share, subscribe for more content like this. And I'll see y'all next episode where I'll be posted up right here, running my mouth about sports. All right, that's a wrap on the post up. I ran my mouth, said what I said, and now it's your turn. Drop a comment, share it, and come back tomorrow because I'm not done talking. And make sure you follow me on social media at DJ Trice. That's at DJ TRICEY TRICE. I'll be posted up here, y'all.